Back in 2020, when I started this podcast, one of my main goals was to create content that busted prominent myths about how to heal your gut. As a gut health expert and someone who failed to heal her own gut using generic advice, I felt and still feel a passion to cut the crap and bring clarity to those who are trying so hard to heal your gut, yet are getting nowhere. The truth is, advice to eat magnesium, drink more water, chew your food, take probiotics, eat clean, or do a juice cleanse is not working anymore. In 2023, research by Ipsos showed that 20% of Americans say nothing they've tried to heal their gut has worked and that they feel they're at a dead end. In celebration of my birthday, which is today, and all the myth busting we've done over the last 3 years on the Better Belly podcast, I'm sharing my top myth busting episodes as an easy directory in this episode. I'll be sharing a quick background and thoughts on every episode and then sharing links in the show notes for you to go and check them out. It's time to get gut healing freedom from these myths. Hey friend, welcome to the Better Belly podcast. If you're currently trying endless supplements, doctor visits, and diet changes to heal your mystery symptoms, you are in the right place. We're here to solve the real root causes behind your gut, hormones, skin, sleep, and brain concerns, literally anything and everything in your body. My name is Allison Jordan. I'm a functional medicine practitioner that has supported over 150 clients just like you to heal problems that no one has been able to fix. You don't need a perfect diet or a random supplement you found on Instagram to heal. You need a proven system that heals your whole body from the inside out. That's what I'm here to share with you, episode by episode. It's time to make health easy again. And just as a reminder, this information is not meant to diagnose, manage, or treat disease. Always consult with your own health practitioner before you make any changes to your health. All right, guys. So at any point in today's episode, if I mention a podcast episode, it is in the show notes. And I don't know, if you're kind of like me and sometimes you like taking shortcuts, you can just pause this episode, go right now to your show notes and see every single episode that I have where I bust a myth on what's going on in those episodes. And on top of that, I didn't want to just share links in this podcast, which it's super helpful and super easy cheat sheet, but I also just wanted to do a quick review and talk about each episode in case you're just give me the summary for what's going on with these. Maybe you don't want to go and listen to them. So the episodes I'm going to be covering today are going to be episode 2, why the low FODMAP diet isn't healing your gut. Episode 3, why probiotics aren't healing your gut. Episode 31, why your doctor says your labs look normal even when you don't feel normal. Episode 50, why the elimination diet isn't healing your gut. Episode 103, detoxing is not a green smoothie. Episode 126, 5 common causes of constipation beyond food. 165, the constipation magnesium myth. And 178, why constipation medicine and laxatives are not helping you. All right, that's it. If one of those sounded interesting to you, you can go check them out. Otherwise, I'm going to talk real quick about why these episodes. If you noticed, my first, episode 1 was my story and how I healed my gut. And then literally episode 2 and 3 were let's talk about why everything that quote unquote should be helping you isn't helping you. This is a very common phenomena. It's literally the thing I live for in my business, not because I'm so, thrilled with I don't live for it in a good way. I'm living for it to help set people free because I was stuck in that trap of trying to heal my gut and doing all the things that they say you should do. I literally did an exercise recently where I Googled, I don't remember the phrase I Googled, but something like how to heal my bloating or how to stop my bloating. And just the list that they gave you, maybe it's possible one of those things would help. And there was a lot of stuff on the list. It was Google had taken all the top stuff it could find and it gave you a list. And I remember thinking maybe this is helping some people, but let me tell you, 20% of the American population, new research found in 2023, is not being helped with these things. And no one's talking about it. And then people are honestly resharing. Nutritionists, functional practitioners, which has been really sad for me to see. I will have clients come to work with me, or after they're done working with me, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I paid all these nutritionists or functional practitioners. I found functional doctors. I found integrative doctors, and no one talked about what you did. And I'm not trying to say I'm amazing. I am sad that it is so hard to find this information. So I am trying to provide really practical information. If you're like, what's the science behind why did the low FODMAP diet not work for me? Why am I still on it? Why is it every time I try to eat, I've been on a low FODMAP diet for a year and I get off of it or try to go back on it and my gut's still not healed and I react to all these foods? Why do I have more foods that I'm reacting to even when I'm on these diets? So I tackle that in episode 2, why the low FODMAP diet isn't healing your gut. I did specifically pick that diet because that was the diet I'd been put on and I was on it for over a year. And you're really only supposed to be on it for like 2 months max, because the idea behind it is that when you avoid these foods for long enough that your gut heals and then you can go back on them. But that did not happen to me. And in fact, that's not happening for a lot of people. And so it's not just the low FODMAP diet. I also tackled in episode 50 why the elimination diet isn't healing your gut. And that episode is going to apply to pretty much any restrictive diet. It could be gluten-free, dairy-free, keto, Whole30, maybe just a general, like I'm trying to eat clean situation. If you're like, I haven't done the low FODMAP, Allison, what's relevant to me? Go listen to that episode. That's episode 50. And I dig into just generally why food isn't healing your gut. Yeah. Why food isn't healing your gut. No one's talking about that. At least I haven't seen people talking about it. So if you feel that way, you're not alone. And that's what we're here to talk about. So those would be 2 great episodes on diet. I also have another great episode on diet, episode 126, 5 common causes of constipation beyond food. So that's another thing where I get at like food cannot heal your gut or food alone cannot heal your gut. And what are the other things you need to be thinking about? I really narrow in on constipation there, but this concept that food alone cannot heal your gut is applicable to acid reflux. It's applicable to bloating. It's applicable to diarrhea. It's applicable to headaches. If you're thinking about how the gut is connected to the rest of the body and you've dug into that gut-brain connection, gut-skin connection, if you haven't dug into those episodes, these are not necessarily myth-busting episodes, but I do have an educational series on the gut-sinus connection, the gut-lung or gut-breath connection is what I call it, and the gut-skin connection, and I'll add those into the episodes that are in the show notes. But the gut is connected to the rest of your body, so if you're having hormone problems, if you're having skin problems, if you're having all these other problems, and you're trying to heal your gut to heal these other problems, and it's not going great, like you're doing all these dietary changes and it's not improving, you're not broken. You're not doing the diet wrong. You don't need to find the one food that accidentally made it into your diet that day that is throwing you for a loop. You don't need a different diet. You need the 5 common causes of constipation beyond food. You need to go into those 5 layers deeper, which I hope it sounds like freedom. I hope it sounds like freedom, that you don't have to keep like banging your head against a wall and just like only focusing on food and thinking it's your fault that you are not getting better. That's how I felt. I felt like I'm eating something I shouldn't. I'm missing the ingredients. I'm not being thorough enough. And that was just a really emotionally draining place to be. And the basic way of saying it was a really crappy place to be. Hey friend, do you feel like you're never properly digesting anything no matter how you change your diet? Have you spent thousands of dollars buying supplements, labs, and fancy functional or holistic practitioners to simply have no relief from your symptoms? Or do you just want to poop daily, ditch acid reflux, and balance your hormones without being dependent on medications? If so, I've got great news for you. You can stop the money hemorrhage that's happening around your health and finally get worry-free health through the Gut Healer System. The Gut Healer System is my 2.0 upgrade to the former Better Belly method that consistently reduces our clients' symptoms by 80% in 3 to 6 months so that your health can finally feel easy. Our clients have gone from being stuck at home with fibromyalgia to watching their grandchildren's soccer games every evening, or they've been able to travel for work and pleasure without wondering the entire trip if they're going to become constipated and ruin their whole time. We've also seen clients get off of 40 plus years of medications that they've been on for acid reflux, constipation, and PMS, and stay off that medication without needing to be on lifelong extreme diet restrictions or supplements. I want you to be able to enjoy the holidays and family meals without fearing how you're going to feel afterwards or feeling guilty for what you do eat. If you are ready for this, head to betterbellytherapies.com/training to watch my free micro training to learn exactly how 600 plus of my clients have healed their gut even when nothing else has worked before. In this training, you're going to learn what your doctors are missing, even if they're functional or holistic, why no amount of food restrictions are going to heal your gut, the 5 toxin trap that is keeping you sick, how to heal your gut in the most affordable way possible, and the 3 steps to actually heal your gut. I can't wait to see you living a worry-free, optimal, healthy life. Head to betterbellytherapies.com/training to get started today. Now, back to the show. We also have some stuff in there, why why probiotics aren't healing your gut. This gets a little bit into supplements and why supplements don't work or might not be working for you. I dig specifically into probiotics here, but that's episode 3. And I think I give some great information again that people are not talking about why probiotics can be either not have no impact or straight up harmful. And it's a recurring theme that I end up mentioning in other episodes, like my SIBO episode, where I talk about why there's a 50% recurrence rate in SIBO, and it's kind of related to this misconception on how to heal the gut. And probiotics can be really simple and useful for some people, but it can be just as detrimental or just not useful and basically a waste of money. Fun fact, I use probiotics in almost none of my protocols. There's only one protocol I recommend probiotics in, just one. And people ask me all the time, what strain of probiotics do you recommend? I'm like, well, let's talk about what your problem is first. Like, what are you dealing with? And let's find the source of the problem, because let me tell you, it's probably not that you need a probiotic. So go listen to that episode. It's really great. We have an episode on why your doctor says your labs look normal, even when you don't feel normal. So kind of myth busting around interpretation of labs and how they're poorly interpreted by conventional medicine, and giving you some tips on just understanding what's going on behind, like, why could your blood work look so normal and you don't feel normal? And I just go into that question. Why? How does that even happen? And there's some really practical, scientific, and historical reasons for that. And that will enable you and it will empower you to feel confident when your doctor kind of blows you off, that you'll be like, you're not the right person I need to be talking to. And even if they say your labs look normal, you just need a different person or you need a different lab. And I really dig into that with that episode. We also have some episodes here on detoxing. It's a big fad right now it has been for years at least, to do a juice cleanse or drink green smoothies. And I jump into why juice cleanses and green smoothies that's not what detoxing is. And I actually then share, what is detoxing? Like, what is happening in detoxing? What structures in your body detox? And what true detoxing is? How do you truly detox? I guess a little hint is you have to really support those systems of your body. And remember, if food can't heal your gut, those green smoothies are not going to do it either. And actually, green smoothies can make things worse for you potentially if you've got the right number of problems or the right situation going on. I guess the wrong situation going on in your gut. And again, that's not often talked about. You're just going to see these reels or these TikTok videos that are going viral on this green smoothie healed my gut. Maybe it did for that person, but let me tell you, there's a huge chunk of the population it's not working for, and you're going to do this smoothie religiously. You might not even realize you're feeling worse on it because you're expecting it to make you feel better. Very interesting stuff going on there. So if you've ever done a juice cleanse or you've been considering doing one or you did one and it didn't work and you want to know why, go check that out. Then the last ones here, we have the constipation magnesium myth. Really great information. I get asked all the time, what's the right type of magnesium to take? Because some of you guys are getting educated and you know that there's different types. There's magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, magnesium malate. You're like, okay, so I know there's different ones and some are designed for different reasons. Which one should I be taking? And it really depends on the variety of situations. But actually, for 99% of my clients, like 99.5%, the majority of my clients, the conversation is not what magnesium do I need to be taking or how much, but what other minerals do I need to be taking? What else is going on in my body that I'm not addressing? Because magnesium can't get rid of a pathogen. Magnesium doesn't replace your sodium and potassium. So you need to be knowing what are the other holes that you're dealing with. And I would go check out that episode to hear more about what is not being talked about when we're only talking about magnesium that you actually need to get rid of your constipation. And then the last one is why constipation medicine and laxatives are not helping. I did this. This is the most recent episode in the list that I shared. And I actually do some research every now and again on like, what questions are people Googling? And there's places you can find that information. And I'll like just do like, what questions are people asking about constipation? And I'll find phrases. And this was actually a phrase like something like, I don't know, constipation, medicine, and laxatives not working, not helping. And I was like, wow. And that's been a problem. I'll have clients come in and part of their health history is they'll say, I only poop when I have a laxative, nothing else works. Or like even the laxatives don't work anymore and I'm totally freaked out. Or like the enema doesn't work, things like that. And so I dig into that in that episode because it is a freaky place to be. And doctors are very, I'm sure that they've seen it and that's why they'll bring it up, but it creates a lot of fear when a doctor says, well, you might become dependent on a laxative. Let me tell you real quick, if you never listened to that episode, but you are kind of struggling with the fear that you will become dependent on a laxative. I have never had a client in my program come in needing to use laxatives to poop and leave without being able to poop without a laxative. There is no amount of laxative use that I've yet been able to reverse or not. Am I saying that right? I've not been able to reverse. I've yet not been able. There's no amount of laxative use that causes you to be too dependent. What I think is really going on when doctors say you'll become dependent on laxatives is we have no other solutions for you. And so what they've seen is people use laxatives for years, and then when doctors go to use their tools to try and help this person to poop, maybe it's pelvic floor PT, maybe it's nutrition, whatever, oh, they're not pooping. Well, then they'll be like, oh, well, the only reason why is you must be dependent on it. And I'm like, no, that's not what happens. You just don't have the solution to it. So I do dig into that in that episode of why people can quote unquote become dependent and what to do to avoid that. And if the laxatives or your constipation medicine isn't working, then kind of what's going on behind the scenes. What does it point to? Like what's going on in your body and what can you do about it? So those are all the myth busting episodes. I personally wish I could download this information into the American subconscious or maybe, actual consciousness. I wish I could just download this information because it would totally change the game. This healing the gut is not rocket science, but it is simply the wrong information being proliferated in too many places. And unfortunately, that wrong information has elements of truth or has worked for enough people that it keeps getting proliferated, but it is like half truths or quarter truths or 1/10 truth. So it's true, but only in a circumstances where 9 other things are also true. Magnesium works if all these other things are also working in the body. But if you have 3 of those systems are offline, magnesium is not going to help. And then you feel this despair and confusion because both conventional and alternative medicine isn't talking enough about what actually is going to heal the gut, especially constipation, because I'm here for constipation, but also acid reflux, also bloating, also PMS, all these things. So those are the episodes. Go check them out. And I hope you have a lovely rest of my happy birthday. And we're going to be back here on Thursday since we're doing our double dipping summers where there's 2 episodes a week for the summer of 2024. We're going to be back on this Thursday talking about my top 5 favorite bread recipes, you guys. Top 5 favorite gut healthy bread recipes. Be back, be there. I have links for you and yummy treats that I'll give you over the airwaves. Have a great day. See ya on Thursday. Hey friend, I hope you loved this episode. If you've been a fan for a while or newly loving this podcast, can you do me a favor? drop into Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. When you leave a review, you do so much. You help me know you're listening, you can tell me what you're loving so I know what to make more of, and you help others by boosting this podcast so other people like you can find the podcast too. I mean, it's a win-win-win, right? So if you want a way to pay it forward, just go to Apple Podcasts or click the link in my show notes and leave a rating and review. And if you want some more free stuff, just head over to my free Facebook group, betterbellytherapies.com/Facebook, and you can get access to all of my free support for you, including some Facebook group exclusive stuff like my podcast episode vault, where you can search the Better Belly podcast by topic and find exactly what you need to expedite your healing. I cannot wait to see you in there. Catch you guys next week.